recording. Been a long road.
Yes.
So you graduate after this class? Is that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How many? Is it a couple years or?
Actually, this has been more or less about 16 months.
Oh,
I started in March of last year.
okay. That's pretty fast. Is that, so you're getting your master's?
Yes.
Cool. And does that mean a promotion or a pay raise or something?
In my district, that's only a one-time bonus of $1,000.
Jeez, not much.
No.
But then, is it a requirement to get the master's at this point?
It's not really a requirement.
But
For my district, it's not really a requirement, but it's something that honestly, it kind of makes your resume look a little bit better.
oh yeah, a lot better. Yeah. And that's actually pretty fast, a little over a year.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think I took almost 2.5 years to get mine. But there wasn't online classes like that. You had to go for a whole semester.
Which is actually why I love the format of this program, which is a class every 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of torture just doing a class for 12 weeks.
Yeah, right. And then it just drags on.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it's just us two or not. Did you have any questions on the assignments or anything about the class to start?
I did not have any questions.
Okay.
I found the requirements for this last paper is very straightforward.
Yeah. Let me just look at it for a minute while you're here. So which topic did you pick for the social issues?
I chose teenage pregnancy.
Do you have any personal experience with people or what was your interest in it?
Well, actually, I used to work in a group home for girls who had babies and they were in foster care.
Oh,
And so these were girls who were as young as 13 and up to 17, and then of course when they turned 18 they aged out of foster care.
wow. So this is a group home or what?
Yes, it was a group home.
They actually lived there.
Yes.
And were they all pregnant? Did they have babies or was that the...
Some of the girls came to the home pregnant. Some of the girls came to the home and they already had babies.
Wow, as young as 13.
Yeah.
And what's your experience with someone so young who's all of a sudden a mother?
My experience, well, with her was that, it actually really didn't bother her that she was pregnant at 13. Although at one point, because she was in middle school, she had just started middle school.
Jeez. And was her mom particularly young? I mean, is that run in the family?
Yes, that pretty much ran in the family. And so she and mom treated each other more or less as friends. Then it was a parent-daughter kind of situation. They treated each other more or less as friends, and they hung out and they swapped boyfriends.
Oh my God. How old was mom?
Let's see, she was 13. Mom had to be like maybe 27, 28. at the
Oh.
time.
Oh my God. Yeah,
And
that's
yes, so mom had no problem with her 13-year-old daughter dating 25-year-old guys.
Jeez. And was the dad old? I mean, what?
I'm not sure what happened to her biological father, but her son's father was 25, 26.
Jeez. Yeah.
And this came to DCF's attention, and I don't think he went to prison for that specifically. I think he had been involved in drugs,
Oh, jeez.
and that's why he ended up going to prison.
So dad's in prison and she's dating mom's boyfriends.
Yeah.
So what kind of counseling do you actually do? I mean, do you talk to them, or what kind of service is it?
Well, basically, in that group home, we provided information to them about what their options are once they aged out of foster care, locating child care services for them. A lot of the girls attended the district public schools, and in my district, Duval County, we have what is called the Teen Parent Program. And they help the girls with child care so that they can continue going to school.
I see. Okay.
And so I did have one young lady who was living in the home, and she was also in middle school, but she was like older. She was older because she had been held back a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
And the principal at that time was trying to pressure her into going to another school.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't want her in the school.
Basically, basically it was, and actually it was a she. And yet she did not want this girl at her school because she felt like her being a teen mom would be a distraction to the other kids and possibly encourage the other kids to want to have a baby.
Yeah. Well, in my family, I mean, my daughter, she's 21, but I would say, when she turned 18, 19, 20, she was almost one of the only people in her friends that did not have a baby. So, by the time she reached 20, there was definitely pressure to join the group, if you know what I mean. So yeah, she's got an 8-month-old now.
But I had to let this resident know that, she had rights, that she did not have to be pressured into going to an alternative school because that's where the principal wanted her to go. She wanted her to go to an alternative school that served teen mothers, but despite her having been held back, she was actually a very good student.
So she's better off staying in that school.
Yeah, so she was better off staying at her school. And she was very upset about it. And I let her know that under Title IX, you have rights.
Right.
The principal has no right to tell you what school you can go to simply because you have a baby.
And she wasn't aware of that.
No.
Yeah.
And that's that's my problem with how the schools not exactly Duval County, because I found that our district is actually quite helpful to teen parents, but where I grew up in Mississippi, I mean, if you're not popular or you're like different, a girl who has a baby is pretty much made an outcast.
Right.
And, the school district I went to school in, they used to have a school with a daycare in it for moms, but a lot of people, because Mississippi is a very conservative state, even though it's one of the poorest and frankly one of the dumbest, but they're all like, oh my God, these girls have nerve to have a baby and have educations. We should stone them and send them to the outskirts of town. Jeez. And so they ended up closing that school.
This still goes on, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, in a lot of backward southern states like Mississippi and Alabama, teen moms are pretty much treated like garbage. and the schools don't want to deal with it. They don't want to have programs that try to help these girls finish school. I mean, because they don't realize that, if you have programs in place that help these girls finish school, they're less likely to drop out. They're less likely to be on welfare.
Yeah, it helps everybody.
Yeah, it helps everyone, and they're less likely to go on and have another kid the very next year.
Right.
And they don't see, and a lot of school districts and a lot of communities don't seem to realize these things.
And do you find that, with a little help, they actually do make good mothers? I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even very young girls. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, because, I worked at the group home for 5 years. And we've had girls to come out of there, they finished school, they secured housing, they're employed, or they're going to school and working, and they're doing quite well.
Huh. Well, that's got to feel good that you made a difference like that. I wanted to, this is, well, it's not directly related to teen pregnancy, but it has to do with conflict. And this is a school in kind of a rough area of Brooklyn, and it's this idea of having peace helpers. When there's conflict between students. I don't know if you've ever heard of something like that, where use of conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yes.
And is it something that you've taught in school, or you've just seen it used? Or
I've seen it used. When I was a paraprofessional at the elementary school that I worked at before I transitioned into teaching, we had a group of 5th graders that were called peer helpers.
Oh, okay. And they were trained to listen, active listening, and that type of thing.
Yes.
Neat. Okay. I know it's not used completely widely, but you do see schools here and there using it, and I think it's a great habit, for the kids to get into it, in terms of how they deal with problems. I don't know if you want to take a listen to this, or I find it more interesting to hear about your work with the teenage. What did you just before we leave that subject? Did you have any suggestions for the situation that you put in the paper? I didn't read it yet, but.
Could you repeat that, Dr. Rubin?
Well, I'm just wondering if you had ideas to help the situation in terms of teen pregnancy and schooling, and from your standpoint, what were your suggestions for the problem?
Well, one suggestion that I had is actually what our district does. They work with local child care centers to provide vouchers so that the girls can keep going to school. And we do have stipulations in place. I mean, it's not like a girl just has a baby and we just hand her a child care voucher. I mean, the girls actually have to go to school. They have to maintain a grade point average. I mean,
what does the voucher give them?
It gives them child care. It gives them child care Monday through Friday.
Oh, wow.
At a daycare of their choosing. However, the girls have to maintain so much school attendance, and they have to maintain a 2.0.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like they can just, just drop the kid off at daycare and then not go to school.
Right.
Because also the child care center has to report that, the mom brought the baby to daycare, and the school has to report to the teen parent office that, that the girl came to school.
Right.
And they have to have their report cards. And what I also propose would kind of help lessen teen pregnancy in the first place, and that I feel that school districts really need to get rid of this abstinence-only education.
Yeah, and teach them, how to, have safe sex is basically what you're saying.
Yes, because the research I've done, it shows that states that teach abstinence only, and I'm pointing out Mississippi again because their curriculum is abstinence only or whatever the crap they're calling it now, and they have one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in the nation still.
Wow.
I mean, the region of Florida I live in, North Florida, they teach abstinence only, and we have a higher teen pregnancy rate than South Florida, which is Miami and Tampa, and they teach comprehensive sex education, and they have a lower teen pregnancy rate than we do.
Huh. Yeah. Well, it's the same old thing. Like, prohibition of alcohol didn't work, and the idea of just pretending that you don't have a sex drive is not going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's got to be combined with sex education.
Yes.
And do you find that most of the students did keep up their grades and go to school? I mean, did they actually value the childcare and do that? Or?
The vast majority of the girls actually did. They actually did value that service. Now, of course, in everything, you always have one or two people who are not going to follow the rules and do what they're supposed to do.
Right. But overall, you think it was a good program? Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounds good. You're not giving away anything. They have to earn it. And it's definitely a problem, Mark.
I mean, and they have access to quality daycares.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not like these girls are not going to Kathy's childcare and check cashing.
Right, right.
They're actually going to, their kids are actually going to high quality daycares, and they're actually learning something.
Uh-huh. So you're in northern Florida.
Yes.
You're near Orlando by any chance, or that's middle Florida?
Actually, Orlando is central Florida. I'm in Jacksonville, so that's about 2 hours. We're about 2 hours north of Orlando.
Yeah, I know Orlando's been such in the news lately. Are you being closer to Orlando? Are you feeling it more than other people?
Well, I was very upset to hear about what happened. Because when you think of Orlando, you're not thinking of things like that happening.
No. No. Disney World.
Yeah, that's what and even the situation at Disney World was very upsetting to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hardly ever in the news like that.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if being a little closer to it, puts you more in the spotlight. What's going on? Do most people, I guess, that are just feeling like you? They're just outraged by it.
Yes, I mean, because it's getting to the point where you can't really do anything, and it's scary and it's sad that you can't go to church. You can't go to church without worrying about somebody shooting it up.
Right.
Or going to have a night out with your friends, or going to the movies. Or going to school, and it's just scary. And I've actually had to unfriend a lot of people on social media this week because somehow they believe that we should have the right to run around with AR-15s.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I'm not anti-gun. And, and I had to unfriend a lot of people who believe that President Obama's just out to take everyone's guns away. And that's not what's going on. I mean, I'm for gun control. I'm for tighter restrictions on people having access to guns.
Right. Yeah,
And I mean, I'm sorry, you don't need, what do you need an AR-15 for? There is no one coming down the street in tanks
no,
coming to get, what do you need that for?
right.
You don't, people who have that don't need that for anything to do one, except to do one thing, and that's kill a bunch of people
Yeah,
in the
you're
shortest amount of
absolutely right.
time as possible.
Well, we got a very worrisome situation. I read something today where, these girls that had a Trump T-shirt were refused service at this food place because they were wearing that shirt. I've just never seen the country so divided.
No.
It's and it's not just our country; it's Europe too with the immigration and we're really going in different directions here.
I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of tired of hearing about the elections and tired of, I mean, I've taken to listening to audiobooks in my car.
Right.
Because I'm tired. And it's June.
Yeah, it's been going on for years, it seems.
It feels like it's been going on for years.
Yeah, I know. And as soon as someone is elected, they're going to start talking about the next one.
Yes.
I don't know. Somehow it must sell airtime. Bottom line. That's why I think the TV stations are going to be sad. Trump goes away, just because. I mean, it is as weird as he is. People love to watch him.
Honestly, I find him annoying.
Oh God, yeah. No, I've had enough of him. Next week you'll have your credentials and you'll be done with school, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was told that my degree will post to my transcript in August.
And then they mail you your certificate. Is that how? Yeah. So you don't actually go to a graduation.
Well, I want to participate in the December ceremony.
Okay. So they have it in the summer and then in the winter.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have ceremonies in May and December.
Okay. So you can actually walk across the stage and get a.
Yes.
Get it to you. Well, that'll feel good. Yeah. Well, I must say I really enjoyed having you around to talk to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you gotten something out of the class.
I mean, actually, it's been very interesting.
Yeah, you kind of dive into, you don't really look at this stuff very often, but I think it makes you a little more well-rounded with how you see the whole educational system. Well, do you have anything further before we sign off?
Actually, I don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, Camisa, I wish you well. And again, thanks for participating in this.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rubin.
Okay. You take care.
All right. You too.